Who will be the fittest in Cape Town? A two-time Games veteran hopes to hold off some hungry up-and-comers on the men's side. For the women, it's a marquee matchup between youth and experience. And one team is looking to be the mightiest of them all. That's next on Game Central. Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Game Central. Sean Woodland and Annie Sakamoto as we continue to preview the semifinals that are coming up in May and June. And today we're taking a look at the Fittest in Cape Town, an event that's been around for a while. They have a good reputation down there and glad that this one's being held in person. Yeah, this is an event that has attracted an international field before, Sean. We know they know how to put on an event, and it's just nice to know that there is an event that has occurred multiple times that's going to help qualify athletes to the games. Yeah, Fittest in Cape Town is the event. It starts on June 4th, runs through June 6th at the Wood Mill in South Africa. One spot for the men, the women, and the team. Fortunately, there is no live stream of this event, but if you want to be there in person, you can get tickets at fittestincapetown.com. And everyone has been so hungry for live competition. Great to see that community in South Africa actually gets to see this in person. Yeah, I think that's it, Sean. You know, I think everybody is so excited to actually be able to, participate in person and to spectate in person. And this is very much what our community needs right now. And I'm really excited for everybody, competitors and spectators alike. Let's start with the men's field. Only one spot up for grabs. It's winner take all. Who's going to take it for the men? I gotta go with Jason Smith on this one. So even though Jason is 36 years old, he's a two-time Games individual competitor. He competed in both 2019 and 2017. And here's why I like Jason Smith. He qualified in 2017 back in the Meridian Regionals. He finished third at the Meridian Regionals, and I think that's gonna lend itself nicely to him competing in a live event like this and actually qualifying. Who's the top contender to maybe knock him out of that top spot? I like Kealan on this, and so he finished only 2 points behind Jason Smith in the quarterfinals. He actually had two first place finishes in the quarterfinals, and he's only 28 years old. So I think again, youth will serve him well when we compare that to Jason Smith and a weekend's worth of events. Who's someone who might wind up taking that first spot, but would be a bit of a surprise if he did? I'm going to go with Darren Zurnamer on this one, and this is why, Sean. So even though he finished 7th in the quarterfinals, he's only 20 years old, and his top end strength isn't great, but where he stands a chance is his youth and kind of being a rookie. And so he has a great quote from his Instagram where he said, 2021 is the first of many years of competition in CrossFit for me. And there's just something that I love kind of about that youth. He's not tainted. He has no expectations of himself. And sometimes those are the most dangerous competitors. Yeah, sometimes it's good not to know some certain things, and he may not know that he's not supposed to win. Yes, innocence is bliss in this case, right? That's absolutely right. Let's go over to the women's side. Just again, one spot available. Who's going to wind up on top of the overall leaderboard? I got to go with Basnett on this one. So she's 24 years old. She finished first place in the quarterfinals. She had 2 first place finishes in that Africa quarterfinals. She was 23rd in the 2019 Filthy 50, so we know she has some experience in live competition. Even though she was born in South Africa, she's been living in the United States. So the only thing for Michelle is she actually has to travel back to South Africa, which, that's a big distance. But I'm going to guess that as an experienced athlete, she'll do quite well with this. And again, first place in the quarterfinals, it lends itself well to doing well in the semifinals. Who will be her toughest competition at the Fittest in Cape Town? With that, I'm going to go with another Michelle, and that's Michelle Merand. Now, she was born and raised in South Africa. And this is actually in Cape Town, which is her home turf. She competed in 2019 at the Games, but this is what I love about Michelle Merand. She started CrossFit in 2015, and she said before that, no real athletic experience. She was a smoker and a drinker. Wow. But she's now a full-time affiliate owner. She's obviously very passionate about CrossFit. She's immersed herself in it by being an affiliate owner and an athlete, and I think she could do really well. And finally, the dark horse for the women's competition is Dina Swift. Okay. And so when we were doing the quarterfinal coverage, we talked a lot about both Michelle Basnett and Michelle Merand. Well,
Dina kind of snuck herself into second place in between those two Michelles, and she was actually the 2019 South African champion, so she competed at the games in 2019. She's 32 years old, and again, I think that second place finish can't be overlooked, even though we overlooked her a bit in the quarterfinals.
Finally, to the teams, once again, just one spot available, and I think back to quarterfinals, and Eikestad Mighty Oaks, that was a name we said a lot, and they've got to be the favorites.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they won every test except for one, and that finish was second place. So it's hard not to imagine that this team will take that qualifying position.
Who will be their toughest competition, though?
So I like CrossFit Tjiger Valley, and they finished second, but they had 3 second place finishes. They're from Pretoria, South Africa, and I think they had a solid performance, and as long as they can stay solid, they could give Mighty Oaks a run for their money.
And then maybe the toughest question that I've given you so far, who's the dark horse of the team competition in Africa?
So I'm going to look to CrossFit Engine38, and they're from Egypt. They were 5th in the quarterfinals, and they were actually the only team to beat the Eikestad Mighty Oaks in any of the tests. That was test 4, that was the front squats. So we know that if anybody can beat the Eikestad Mighty Oaks, it's CrossFit Engine38.
Fittest in Cape Town gets started on June 4th, runs through the 6th. It is live in person in South Africa. No live stream available, but if you're in the area, you want to go check out some great competition in person, you can find information on tickets at fittestincapetown.com. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Game Central. For Annie Sakamoto, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll see you next time.